Probably one of the most unexpected successes to come out of TV this year was Andor, Star Wars' latest Disney Plus series. And to my surprise, it kept me captivated and interested and intrigued throughout its 12-episode first season. I was scared that after a really solid first 3 episodes, the show was just going to fall off. I'm glad to say that I was wrong and that everything that was good about the first 3 episodes shows up even more in episodes 4 through 12. I'd say the show only gets better with episodes 4 through 12, with episode 10 being probably one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen. Andor is quite easily the best thing that Disney has produced in regards with Star Wars. Maybe Rogue One overtakes it. There will be a couple spoilers in here, so if you haven't seen the series, go ahead and watch it and then come back. In my first video on Andor, I praised the show for exploring new territory in the Star Wars universe, both in story and in its locations. Often Star Wars just goes back to Tatooine or goes back to Coruscant or places and characters that we've seen over and over and over again. But Andor does something very different, and it brings in new characters during a time that we haven't seen a ton of. And I know what you're thinking, Jackson, but this is between episodes 3 and 4. We've seen a lot of stuff here. Yeah, but we've never seen this. We've never seen what the political environment was like. We've never seen the rise of the rebellion, at least in this new canon. We've never seen anything like this, and that's something I really enjoy about Andor, and something I personally believe is good about Disney Star Wars. I don't think Disney Star Wars started out right, because it started out as just copying or trying to improve or write their own version of stuff that's already happened. They tried to write characters that were already established the way they wanted to. They took someone else's creation and made it their own, which isn't always a bad thing, but with something as beloved as Star Wars, that's a really bad idea. But here, although it's a somewhat familiar time period, we're seeing new characters and we're seeing new stories and we're seeing things in areas of the Empire and the Rebellion that we've never seen before. And yes, Mon Mothma's in it. Yes, Saw Gerrera's in it. But those characters have never had enough screen time, nor have they been fleshed out enough to where if they were to write new stories for them, it would really ruin their characters. I don't think it would. I love getting to see new planets. And I know we go back to Coruscant, but it's a different feel. It feels different. Coruscant feels different. And so I'm not complaining about that. I love seeing Ferrix and how throughout the series we got to learn more and more about the planet and its people. And it's not even exposition. It's like woven into the story. I never felt for a second that I was just taking a tour through Ferrix and there was some tourist guide just telling me what everything was. I feel like we get that a lot in shows and movies with new locations. Here it feels like they just throw you right into it and you're almost living within the city, and I really enjoyed that. I love how we even got to see a new look into the interworkings of the Empire itself in the form of the ISB. I honestly did not know how this show was going to handle the Empire, and I think they did it extremely well here. Director Miro is a great antagonist in this series. She's smart, cunning, resourceful, and dedicated to the Empire. I think the actress that plays this role does an incredible job portraying this character. And I loved getting a look at the ISB. I'd say my only complaint with Miro and the rest of the antagonists is Lieutenant Karn. I think he's Lieutenant. I really liked him in episodes 1 through 3. And I was really interested with how they would take his character going into the later episodes. I felt like at the beginning they went in the right direction. And then at the end, he just kind of was really annoying. He was just this guy who seemed to have this crush on this big shot Empire lady. It just felt weird. I didn't like it. He's sometimes really annoying in the later episodes, and again, doesn't really do anything after the 10th episode. I don't necessarily mind the character. Like I said earlier, I really enjoyed him in episodes 1 through 3, really 1 through 5, but I wish he had a little less screen time towards the end, or they gave him something better to do. After the prequels, I never thought I would say I liked a Star Wars series that focuses a lot on politics, but here we are with Andor. And I really like the prequels, by the way. politics and all. But sometimes it's really slow, and I don't think it is as much here. There are some times where it's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't talk about banking, and we should go back to the prison, or we should go back to the plot they're hatching, or something like that. But it's really interesting to get to see insights into the rebellion. I think we often just think of them as like a guerrilla force that just banded together and started fighting the Empire, but getting to see the sacrifices people had to make, getting to see all the complications and all the trials that they had to go through and to support the rebellion, it's really interesting to see. With that, I think everything they did with Mon Mothma was done incredibly well. I was a little bit worried when I heard she was returning, just because she's kind of a legacy character, not in the same way Luke or Leia or any of them, but she's still somewhat established. But I loved what they did with her character here. Her struggles with what Luthen is doing and what the rebellion's doing, the links they're going with, and her problems with keeping her banking secret make for a very interesting arc. I love seeing all the sacrifices she makes for the rebellion. It's truly incredible, and it shows how much she believes in the cause. Loved her character. She was super smart. She had some really cool moments within the show, and I can't wait to see more of what they do with her in season 2. Luthen is another great character in this series. Again, I was a little bit nervous going into the show with them creating a new character for almost starting the rebellion, but I like Luthen, so it's okay. Stellan Skarsgård does an amazing job playing this character. I mean, incredible. I think one of my favorite moments throughout the whole show was his speech at the end of episode 11. I got chills. It was so cool, and he acted it incredibly well. I would say I would have liked to learn more about him in season 1 and a little bit more of his backstory, but I feel like we're going to get that in season 2, so it's not that big of a deal. I would say one weak character in the show is Cassian Andor himself. And it's not that he's a bad character. It's just that throughout the show, there were so many more interesting characters than him. Like Mon Mothma, Luthen, Miro. He's such an odd choice to be the main character of any show. I think out of the whole cast of Rogue One, I probably wouldn't have given him his own show. That being said, I think Diego Luna does a great job in the role. I think he gives a good performance, and I do like the character. He never seems like a main character in this show, which is weird. I think he did a lot more in episodes 1 through 3 when they were showing his backstory and there was everything with Kenari. But then after those episodes, he kind of fades into the background. He's just kind of there. Cassian often feels like a side character in his own show. Something Disney seems to be really good at doing with these Disney Plus series. Yeah, anyway, I think a bit more screen time and more fleshing out of his character would have helped overall. I wish they focused more on him. Although I will say during the prison episodes, I really liked what they did with his character. Which brings me to probably one of the highlights of this show, which is episode 10. I was speechless after watching this episode. It was a masterpiece. Oh my gosh. I've said this before, but it's probably one of the best episodes of TV I've ever watched. The writing, the pacing, the tension, the acting, the action, the payoff. All of it was done to perfection in this episode. Andy Serkis and Diego Luna absolutely steal the show during this episode. I was on the edge of my seat during the prison break. The score was amazing. I think that Kino's speech was absolutely powerful, and it was such a cool moment. And then I was absolutely heartbroken when the words "I can't swim" came from his mouth. It was an absolutely fantastic episode. I'd say the only bad thing about this episode is that we know that Andor's gonna get out because he's the main character and we know he doesn't die there. But other than that episode was perfection. I also think all the other prison episodes were great as well. No One's Listening, episode 9, which was right before the greatest episode, was a really good episode. And I really never been so hyped for someone saying a number. No more than 12. I felt like I was in a movie theater watching a Marvel movie. Yes! No more than 12. I really enjoyed those prison episodes. Overall, Andor is a surprising success. I was not expecting this. Even after a positive review of the first 3 episodes, I was not expecting the rest of the series to finish out this strong. But it does. It introduces new characters and locations that are intriguing and fun to learn about. It gives us a new look at the Empire and shows us why they are to be feared. We get a new look at the rebellion here, and it's not the picture-perfect people that we think of in the original trilogy, but rather broken, flawed people just trying to take down the Empire by any means necessary. Andor tells a beautiful, tense, and compelling story that I can't wait to dive back into when Season 2 drops. I'm excited for that, and I don't think I've said that about a Disney Plus show in a very, very long time. But I think that's about it from me. Let me know down in the comment section below what y'all thought about Andor. Did you like it? Did you not? What were your thoughts on episode 10? And why is it the greatest episode of television? Let me know all down in the comment section. As always, I love you guys. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing day. And until next time, peace out, bro skillets.